Hi, welcome to the Sunday Sports Buzz presented by livingforless.org. I'm your host, Greg Brahman. Our number, 964-2121, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. This is Louisville's original live TV sports talk show. And joining us tonight, a very familiar face to this show, the original co-host of the Sunday Sports Buzz, Chip Cosby, is back. Great to have you back, Chip.
Well, good to be back home, man, where it all started. The big weekend, lots to talk about, man.
Absolutely, lots to talk about. So give us a call if you want to weigh in. We're going to start with the Cards. And Louisville built a big lead, Chip, yesterday against North Carolina. Came out, dominant performance in the first half. Lose the entire lead and have to hold on at the very end. When you look at the big picture, what does this game say about this football team?
Well, I think you look at the AP polls, they dropped the spot, so obviously it may hurt their national perception a little bit. It depends on what you look at. Do you look at the team that dominated North Carolina in the first half, or do you look at the team that, might have let off the gas a little bit and let Carolina back in the game? I think it hurt them a little bit, but I think in the grand scheme of things, they got the win, they move on. I think if they continue to win games, nobody will really pay much attention to this down the road.
Yeah, you know what? They did. They dropped in the rankings after winning this game. And if you'd have told me they'll beat North Carolina no matter what the circumstances and drop in the rankings, I wouldn't have believed it before the game. How important is it to Louisville right now where they are in the rankings? Because I think actually if you finish the season and you're 11-1, it doesn't matter if you struggled in any of the games leading up to that. It's going to matter at the end of the year what your record is.
Yeah, as long as they keep winning games, they'll be fine. I think the end result is to take care of business against Florida. Everybody talks about they have to win big and blow teams out, and
yeah.
that's not, that looks good. That has a lot of sex appeal, but at the end of the day, survive in advance. If they keep winning games, they will continue to rise in the polls, in my opinion.
All right, we got Terry already on the line, Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. She's always first on the line, Chip. Terry, she beats Handsome Jimmy every single week.
She's pretty good. If you beat Handsome Jimmy, I got to give you your props, Terry.
All right, Terry.
How you doing?
Doing good.
I just called to say a couple things. First of all, they had an excellent first half. And second half, I don't know what happened to them, but they need to straighten it up for the rest of the year. And then as far as them going down in poll, I don't care as long as they stay above 20. But see, the whole thing is the BCS. We want a good position for the BCS. And then as far as the Big East, I think we're screwed on the basketball. I really do with Notre Dame leaving. That's all I have to say.
I tell you what, we're going to preview that a little bit. Notre Dame going to the ACC. Tell you the truth, though, the Big East had a huge weekend against the ACC. 3 Big East football teams beat 3 ACC football teams. Pitt beat Virginia Tech. Connecticut beat Maryland. Louisville beats North Carolina. So when you look at the Big East, maybe, I don't know, is it as bad as everybody thinks it is? Maybe it is. But with that schedule, what are the percent chance you think that Louisville goes undefeated?
I think there's a good chance. I still say they're going to stub their toe somewhere along the line, whether it's, at Rutgers. There's still some track. I think they get by Southern Miss. I think they win at FIU. But I'm looking at the schedule. I just think they don't. I have a hard time seeing them get through without stubbing their toe once. I think 11-1 is realistic, but 12-0 is tough to do. Like I said, they've still got, they've got to go to Rutgers.
Yeah.
They've got UConn. They've got some tough games.
Well, the pressure builds, too. If you remain undefeated, the deeper you go, the pressure builds greater and greater. And then you go to Rutgers the last game of the regular season, which has been a tough spot for Louisville in November traditionally over the last several years. So, you know what? I give a 50% chance, though.
There's a shot. There's no doubt about it.
I think they do have a shot.
This was the game once they got past this one, North Carolina game was the one everybody was worried about, really. So now it's just a matter of whether they can take care of business.
All right. And then later on in the evening yesterday, Kentucky hosting Western. And Western pulls the upset in Lexington. What a call by, you always have those plays. You got them in your back pocket in case you ever need to pull them out. And Willie Taggart pulled one out that I wonder how often they practice this just for this moment. A lateral, where they throw it back to the quarterback who makes a shoe-top catch, and Western wins, goes for 2, beats Kentucky. How big a victory is this for Western?
It's huge, and the way it happened made it even more significant. Western was the better team. I mean, they really should have. The game should have probably never even gone to overtime. I thought they controlled things throughout. But the fact that it went to overtime and they win that game on that call, that just adds more luster. Let's say Kentucky doesn't come back, Western wins the game 24-17. It's big, but the way it ended, I mean, that just catapulted Willie Taggart up, and he's a star now.
Is he a candidate for the UK job if it opens up?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think I don't know if he'll get it or not, but I think he's at least got to get an interview. I mean, you just look at what he's done. What I like about Willie is his positive energy just seems to feed off on his players. I mean, he's just one of those guys that you sense that the guys love playing for him.
He smiles a lot. I mean, he seems like a nice guy.
Right. He's a guy that you can like. He's a guy that the players want to play for. And I certainly think he's a candidate. Will he be sexy enough to satisfy a UK fan base that's basically fed up? I mean, they're ready for a big splash. Yeah. I don't know if that's big enough, but Willie Taggart's got to get at least an interview for that job.
I tell you what, I think Western's better than people think they would be. I mean, the way they play football, it's not the new age spread offenses that you'll see around the country. They're playing NFL style, tight end, run the football, out-muscle you, Jim Harbaugh type football from Taggart's days out at Stanford. And they physically dominated Kentucky.
Yeah, and it's dangerous to compare scores, but I look at how they played Alabama, and obviously Alabama probably wasn't playing as hard as they would in LSU, but they sacked Alabama's quarterback 6 times. They didn't get physically overwhelmed by Alabama, and and you look what Alabama did to Arkansas and what they did to Michigan. Western is a good football team. I'm not so sure that there aren't several teams in the BCS, maybe in the lower division, in some of the power conferences they couldn't beat.
All right, let's go to Alan real quick before we go to break. Alan, you're up on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line.
Yeah, I'm a big U of L fan, and you're right about the Western thing that Greg, they pulled it off, and stemming from last year, they ended up with 7 wins. They actually should have been in a bowl last year, but they got shortchanged on that one. But my point is about yesterday U of L's game. Yeah, I got to thinking back about Marshall and FIU last year, and some of these young players were there when all this happened, and they saw the similarities were all there the second half. Last year's game just started from the first to the end, but that was a lot of similarities in second half yesterday. They got complacent, and as where these other games they were supposed to win last year and they didn't. I think they were complacent when they went into that. It's awful tough. And you're a coach and you played. How hard is it to get a younger player like this to get his mindset right?
I tell you what, I think it's tough at any level. How many times you see a team get a huge lead at halftime and then extend the lead? I don't think you hardly ever see it. You always give up something on the big lead you have. And I guess the good thing you could say about the focus of the team is they made a play down at the end to win. They didn't just lose it when the momentum started going against them.
And I think that's the next step in the progression for Charlie. I mean, people have to realize you look at the roster, and they're really probably a year away from maximizing their potential. As good as they are this year, next year they'll be even better. But they have to learn how to put the nail in the coffin. I mean, you saw it against UK. I mean, they came out, dominated early, and before you know it, UK, if they don't fumble the ball, they're going on a drive, then they're back in the game. I think this is just the learning process of Charlie Strong building a championship caliber team. You might see it a couple more times where they get out to big leads and maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit.
All right, we're going to take a break. Be back with more of the Sunday Sports Buzz presented by livingforless.org.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 areas for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
Ross from 1-800-ASK-GARY. I'm here to tell you about a new law in Kentucky. It is now against the law for a stranger to call or come to your home after a car accident to solicit you for medical or legal services. Report this illegal act to your insurance company. You may be entitled for a full refund of fees paid for services already received. Don't risk damaging your case or your health. We'll always do what's right for you. 1-800-ASK-GARY.
The Lord's Kitchen is asking for your help to win a portion of $5 million in grant money from Chase Community Giving. To win, we must receive the most votes on Facebook by September 19th. Here's how you can help. Stop what you're doing and help right now and vote. Go to facebook.com/Chase Community Giving. Like the page and click the Chase Giving link. Search for the Lord's Kitchen and then click the green vote button. But don't stop there. After you've voted, please share with your Facebook friends and encourage them to vote.
Sunday Sports Buzz every Sunday night at 11. Make sure you listen to Mason and Myers in the morning on 1450 The Sports Buzz. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30. I call in, I mix it up with Rashawn and Mace. It's presented by Insuramax. For all your home, auto, and life needs, call Chad and Alan Hennessy at 479-4085. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 a.m. Mason and Myers in the morning, joined by myself. And I am joined tonight by Chip Cosby, who sat in this chair for a long time. And now, Chip, at ICN2, tell us about your program over there at CN2.
Yeah, CN2 Sports. We run weeknight 6:30, and then we repeat it again at 10:30. Tune in tomorrow night. We'll have recaps of U of L, UK and Western. We keep you caught up with all the high schools. Just try to cover a little bit of everything in Kentucky and the sports.
I tell you what, you did a couple of great documentaries too over the summer. I know you're getting into some of that documentaries and really trying to educate and inform and entertain the sports viewers in this area. And we have Tom on the line with us on Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Tom.
Yes.
You're up.
I like to find out why their U of L is playing so conservative in the second half. If they keep it up, they're going to get burnt in one of these games. They need to open it up the second half, too. And I also like to know, where are the defensive backs?
Well, two things. I think Charlie's a defensive coach. He believes in his defense. I think he probably figured with a 36-7 lead, he can run the ball, and his defense will come up with a stop. Same thing with Kentucky. I think he believed in his defense. But when you have a big lead, and then you kind of get into that bend but don't break mentality, and before you know it, you're in a game. It'll be interesting to see how he goes from this point out. I mean, does he come out the second half a little more aggressive? But there's no way around it. The players, I think, it's just natural to let up a little bit, especially when you're a young team, not used to being in that position, to let up a little bit, Greg.
Yeah, it is. It's just hard to maintain that. First of all, you're playing a good football team. I mean, a pretty good BCS caliber football team. To dominate them for 60 minutes is very difficult. They're going to make a run. And Louisville almost gave it. It would have been a terrible defeat if they would have lost, but they were able to hold on. Before we get to Kevin, who's on the line, I wanted to ask you, Chip, Teddy Bridgewater, he's been amazing so far this year, but he's really spread the ball around to some different receivers, from Charles Gaines to Eli Rogers, Damian Copley. A name I haven't heard a lot of is Devontae Parker yet. He really hasn't had his coming out party this season yet. What do you think's going on there?
Well, I think they're deep at receiver, obviously. I mean, you have the emergence of Charles Gaines, who looks like He's already probably their number one option. Damian Copeland has emerged. But to me, Devontae Parker is a guy that you've got to draw up plays for. I mean, he's 6'3", he's acrobat, can make tough catches, and it doesn't look like they're really designing a lot of plays to go his way. Now, it's hard to argue with it because they've been successful offensively. Teddy's been great. They're moving the ball. But I think as they move further along in the schedule, they've got to find a way to keep this guy involved and get him the ball.
Yeah, and he's great on the deep ball. I mean, he's great on the jump ball type of throw, and I could see him maybe figuring in a little bit more in the coming weeks. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, you're up.
Yeah, I was a big-time Cards fan, first off, but I was wondering your thoughts on why they decided to not take a knee, the last 3 plays, and also what is the status of the offensive lineman that looked like he got hurt?
As far as why they took, I don't know. I mean, I guess Charlie. I guess Carolina was out of time. Were they out of time?
I'm not up to date on the situation timeout-wise.
I don't know if Carolina might have had a timeout left, and Charlie, wanted to, just seal the deal. But, it's interesting. I mean, they came dangerously close. I mean, they don't make that play on that 4th down at the goal line. I mean,
it's over. I mean, it's poof, it's all gone at that point. They fumbled the kickoff, and was it a kickoff? I think it was the kickoff that was fumbled. That's how fast it can all go away. That big lead and a potential victory, but they were able to hold on, and they're 3-0 on the year, going to FIU next week. Both teams playing in Florida next weekend as Kentucky goes down to play Florida. Let me ask you about Kentucky, Chip. There's going to be all this buzz about Joker. There's going to be a buzz about losing to Western. Here they beat Louisville, lose to Western. On the field, what do you think is their biggest football problem on the field? The biggest thing they have to fix?
I think a lot of it's mental. I mean, they just don't seem like they play with a lot of confidence. Maxwell Smith threw that interception. And you can just see it affected him and affected the team. They finally rallied, but defensively, I think, is the biggest problem. I mean, Antonio Andrews is a good player, but, boy, he just really carved into them. They're just a team. They don't seem to be able to overcome their own mistakes. And the defensive
There's no margin for error.
No margin for error, and defensively, they're going to struggle all year.
Yeah, and now they go to Florida. Florida's hot. Florida's a hot team. Goes down and beats Tennessee yesterday. So they're 3-0 on the year right now as well. But we want to hear from you, 964-2121, 964-2121, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We'll talk more Cards and Cats when we come back. Also, Notre Dame to the ACC. We'll talk about what that means for Louisville's future. And NBA meeting the other day. This comes up a couple times every year. And an NBA meeting with some movers and shakers. And we'll talk Chip Cosby about it. The Sunday Sports Buzz presented by livingforless.org.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 areas for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
Smart shoppers, 'cause this is how you roll. You love your car, it's your best friend. There's one thing that you know. Before you drive around in any city or town, you want to show off, you know. Yeah, this is how you roll. That's what we're all about. Smart shoppers, 'cause this is how you roll.
If you've been injured because of a careless driver, don't wait another minute. We know how to fight to get you maximum cash and minimum time, and in most cases help with immediate expenses. There's never a fee unless we win or settle your case. Go to getthetiger.com.
The most exciting family adventure you'll have this summer is the Red River Gorge Zip Line. Soar 250 feet above the canyon. Feel the adrenaline pump through your blood as you reach speeds up to 50 miles per hour on 5 different zip lines. The whole family will enjoy the Red River Gorge Zip Line. Go to redrivergorgezipline.com to find out more. redrivergorgezipline.com. Red River Gorge Zip Line is a proud member of the iTex Cashless Marketplace. Your iTex dollars are welcome here.
Summer is gone, but fall is here. We have some spectacular values here for you at 21 Live this fall, including our Bluegrass Golf Tour Card 8. Really great courses. You get a round of golf at each, plus your cart, $75. That's less than $10 per course. So check that out, and check out all the other great values that we have for you all the time on our website. It's shop21live.com. And of course, watch us when we're on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
The season never ends on the Red Blue Review. At Kentucky, we're covering a national basketball championship.
And it's Louisville's turn next year, right?
It's our turn every week on Red and Blue.
If you want the best of both local and national sports, covering the Cards and the Cats, an independent voice, you got to listen to 1450 The Sports Buzz. There's our weekday lineup with Mason and Myers in the morning. You got Dan Patrick, Tim Brando, Wildcat Locker Room Show, of course, Johnny the Freak Renshaw, Nick Coffey, and Inside the Press Box, and Larry Glover Live from 6 to 8. And then our weekend Sports Buzz on Saturday and Sunday morning. Wide variety on 1450 The Sports Buzz. Included in that is this staple of your TV viewing schedule, the Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by livingforless.org. And it's Greg Brom, joined by Chip Cosby tonight. And we have Rick on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, Rick.
Glad to see you, Chip. I watch your show every day, too, man.
Appreciate it, Rick.
What I wanted to say was maybe I'm a step behind. Maybe he graduated, but I was looking for D. Brown, number 10. What happened to him? Did he graduate last year? I'll hang up and let you guys answer.
Yeah, he's been hurt, man. He was down on the sidelines in street clothes with a brace on his knee. He's got a knee injury. Nobody really is sure how serious it is. I thought he might have been back last week or maybe even this week. But, yeah, that's one of the kind of mysteries is how hurt is Dominic Brown?
Well, two guys that were big impacts last season you haven't heard a lot from. Dominic Brown because of the injury. And then Devontae Parker, we talked about earlier in the show. These are a bunch of new guys, a lot with Teddy, who are leading the way right now for the Cards.
Which is a good sign.
Yeah.
That just shows you what kind of depth they have offensively. But I think before the year's over, you're going to hear Dominic Brown and Devontae Parker both being a key part of what they're doing offensively.
All right, some big news this week. Earlier in the week, Chip, Notre Dame leaving the Big East in all sports, weren't in the conference in football, but all their other sports, going to the ACC. And first off, what's it say about the Big East, if anything? Could it get any worse, for the Big East, and what's it mean for Louisville?
Well, it was interesting. The Big East Commissioner, Michael Resco, was in the press box before the Louisville game, and, doing damage control, and his take was, look, we'll be fine. We're still the best basketball league in the country.
That's a tough sell to make, I think, even now.
That's debatable, but he was like, Notre Dame, they weren't a factor in football, but it's a big blow. Any way you slice it, you lose Syracuse, Pitt, and Notre Dame from your basketball lineup, and I think it does affect their reputation. And if I'm Louisville, right now you just kind of got to wait it out. But I know Tom Jurich, he's got to be on the phone right now. Big East, ACC, Big 12, wherever. But they need to be looking at their options.
Yeah, I don't think it's not. We all kind of knew the Big East was dying a slow death, and this is just another shovel of dirt on that because Notre Dame leaving now. I don't think you can even argue the viability of the league as a big player without Notre Dame now because they use Notre Dame to get TV money. That's what they use Notre Dame for, is to get the bowl and TV money to have Notre Dame, and now they're out the door. Louisville just doesn't have any other options right now but to wait.
Yeah, they've got to wait it out, but they've got to, first opportunity, the first opening they get, they got to be ready to pounce.
You know what, and I think for Notre Dame too, why there instead, I think they're better off down there than the Big Ten, even for football, because I think they want to recruit Florida talent.
Right.
And to be down there playing in the South might be an advantage to their football program.
Oh, absolutely. And, you're playing, Maryland, Virginia. You're up in the D.C. area, too. There's a lot of prospects there. So, yeah, I think they were thinking big picture. And they can, they play 5 ACC games a year. They'll probably get a sweetheart deal. And then they can, they still get to handpick their schedule, basically.
Yeah. And on Friday, a meeting here in Louisville, NBA talk rumbling through the city once again, but this sounded like a pretty legitimate group of leaders getting together to talk about an NBA team. And I think the arena the arena being behind and some of the revenue it was supposed to generate is really driving this. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about the NBA? 10 years from now, will there be an NBA team in Louisville?
I sure hope so. I think it'd be great for the city. I think it could support, bring the Kings here and rename them the Kentucky Colonels and, go old school. Play maybe a few games in Rupp every year. But the key to this, Greg, is U of L. In order for this to work, U of L and the city are going to have to come together and work together to make this happen. U of L's got that sweetheart deal lease with the Yum Center. Are they going to be willing to take one for the team to help the city out? Early indications I've always gotten is no. But as this thing, the Yum Center deal reaches desperation, it'll be interesting to see if U of L is willing to play ball here.
I think Louisville will say all the right things, but they won't do a whole lot to probably move the situation along by coming out. I think they're going to make the city come up with a team, bring them a deal, and then Louisville will make a decision about it. They're not going to say up front, I think, what they'll do. They're going to act like they would play ball and work with them. But I think it would require an NBA team making up the difference in revenue for Louisville in some capacity to give up their authority and their reign in the KFC Yum Center.
Yeah, I think so. But I would love it. And I think, Cal was at Memphis and they were rolling good and they had the Grizzlies I think it can work. I think the notion that you can't, support both, I don't agree with that. I just think there's a lot of political elements that have to be worked out.
I think the scheduling would work. You've got 41 dates, and the NBA plays a ton of games in October and then in April and May. Around, after the before and after the college basketball season, I don't even see a problem with the scheduling. And they talked about finding an owner. Can you imagine, like John Schnatter being the owner of the NBA Louisville team? Maybe Mark Cuban.
Yeah, and I mean, just the opportunity to see LeBron and Kobe, it would revitalize downtown. I mean, and we would be a major player. I mean, why? Indianapolis has pro sports. Nashville has pro sports.
Look what Oklahoma City. Look what it's done for Oklahoma City.
Absolutely.
Chip, pleasure as always.
Great to be
look
back.
forward to seeing you back here soon, and we'll see you again next week. Make sure you listen to 1450 the Sports Buzz throughout the week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30 for the Insurer Max segment with me, Mason, and Myers in the morning. You got Dan Patrick, Tim Brando, The Freak, Nick Coffey. Great lineup on 1450 The Sports Buzz. And join me here next Sunday night at 11, Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by livingforless.org.
The landscape of